I thought today's conference went really well. I've been to many conferences in the past. This one I think was really good in terms of breadth of the subject matter, but also the depth that we went to. So we started off with looking at GDPR. I've spoken on GDPR myself, but actually I think there was still new stuff to learn from this. We then looked at Barbados from Glenna, and that was a really interesting discussion around perhaps the perception of Barbados sitting in the Caribbean and the EU's view and perception towards Barbados, and actually how progressed it is. We then looked at Bitcoin and AML monitoring on Bitcoin with CoinFirm. Again, an interesting discussion as to how banks can be prepared from that. Now, I've worked and known CoinFirm for some time, but there were still some takeaways from that I hadn't explored before. So really interesting to sort of see that. We then looked at the tax legislation that's, the sanctions legislation that will be coming to the UK for Brexit, and includes as well the wrap-up of AML legislation. And finally, a view of China. So I've worked in China myself, but it was interesting to see a more broad cultural view as to how China has ended up where it has in its modern society, and the challenges that are faced both for national banks in China, but also at the overseas branches and any bank that might actually deal with Chinese nationals who are coming, and how you might, for example, identify source of wealth and source of funds.